2 months in Romania. I think that it was one of our favorite 2 months so far.
Yeah, absolutely it was. You know, we did move around a lot more than we normally do. We're usually a month at a time in each location. But we weren't going to get that price break on our Airbnbs because it was the summer months.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, when we started looking at all the different places that we wanted to travel to, and you would plug in the month-long stay, but then you would try plugging in a 2-week, there was no discount. So that's kind of when we started talking about, well, let's try moving around more and hopping to locations. So.
And we're glad we did. But it was a chore. It took a lot out of us.
It was exhausting.
Yeah. But we're going to break down, our first breakdown on these prices is going to be our rent, what we paid for our accommodations for those entire 2 months.
This breakdown is going to definitely look a lot different than what our normal cost breakdowns look like, and in the end you're going to see that it did cost us more to do the 2 months, but we feel like it was worth it because we fit so much into that 2 month time.
Correct.
We first started in Bucharest, and we stayed in Bucharest for 3 nights. We chose to just stay in a hotel because it's sometimes just easier to not have to deal with an Airbnb. The check-in process and stuff can sometimes just be a little more time consuming. So we stayed in a hotel there. We then moved to Brajov, where we had a fantastic Airbnb, had a kind of cool view of the mountainside, and we stayed there. That was our longest stay. We were there for 17 days. Yeah. And then from there we went to Sighișoara, where we stayed for 3 nights. You don't need 3 nights in Sighișoara, but our Airbnbs weren't lining up, and so we had to spend some extra time somewhere. So it worked out good, though. We were happy we were there.
Yeah, and we had a great Airbnb, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Then we went to Seaview, and we were there for 2 weeks, and I think 2 weeks was a nice stopping point for us. We'd been moving around a little bit. Now, we did leave Seaview a couple days early because we had an opportunity to go to Sevish, so we stayed there for 3 nights.
3 nights.
Yeah, and it was unexpected, and we're so glad that we had the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, and that was gifted to us by our host, so there was no cost involved in that.
And from there we moved on to Cluj, and we were there in Cluj for a week. And I'd say a week was about enough time.
It was. We could have spent less time there, honestly. We're not big city people, and it is a larger city, but it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice Airbnb as well. After that, we traveled to Oradea, which we absolutely loved, and we spent 3 nights in Oradea. So happy that we did spend some time there because that's one of those places people just kind of hop through and maybe just spend a day. So that was great, and then from there we went to our last stop, which was Timisoara, and we were in Timisoara as well for 3 nights. And in Timisoara, we just decided to stay in a hotel. There was a great hotel that was just easy accessible to downtown, and our total costs for 2 months in Romania for rent was $2,402. So definitely more than we normally spend. So the next area we spend money is groceries. Now, groceries for us usually is one of our higher costs because we eat in a lot, but we absolutely went the different direction in Romania because you're moving around so much, and so buying your groceries and trying to prep meals at home when you're going to be moving in 3 days is a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, we didn't get Airbnbs that were really accommodating in all cases. Some cases we did, but not in every case where it was easy to cook.
Yeah.
So we decided that, it might be easier just to eat out. Besides, we were in hotel rooms, 6 nights total?
Yeah.
I think so. So our eating out cost was more, but our groceries were a lot less.
Plus, we also knew that eating out in Romania was actually quite affordable. So that was a big portion of it as well. And so we just decided to make that choice. But in the end, after 2 months, which is really low, we only spent $380 on groceries.
Now, the restaurant bill was a lot higher than it normally is.
That was a lot higher than it normally is, yeah.
So, but eating out is also entertainment. It's a part of travel. Eating the local cuisine, all that we were able to take in and do in Romania because it was more affordable than some of our past locations.
From the time that we arrived, we were actually, I knew the food was like a heartier food and stuff, so I was actually thinking, I'm not sure if that's going to be my favorite kind of food. I loved the food in Romania. And we found the restaurants to be, there were so many different choices. Some of the towns that we went into had a lot more traditional options, but then some of the towns we went into had a lot of just other options as well. A lot of Italian food,
a lot of pizza,
Indian food, and Thai food, and pizza.
And not to mention that great beer too. I've mentioned that in the past, But that is a part of our eating out budget, would be going out for beverages.
Yeah.
So they had a great selection in craft beer, so we took advantage of it.
We definitely did. Yeah. So this eating out budget for us is actually different. We usually just put our eating out in our entertainment budget because it's usually quite small. So this is its own little category this time. And for eating out, we spent $1,200 for 2 months. That's a lot for us.
That's a lot. So then we get into our entertainment, and we do other things besides just eat out for entertainment. This time we were in each location that had excursions. They also had other things to do. So we went to the movies. This includes the cable car up in Brajov, and it includes anything that we might have done extra.
So we also went to Pelish Castle, went to Braun Castle, we went to the salt mines when we were in Cluj. So yeah, just kind of any of those things, if it cost us to go into a church, or if we went into the fortress, or any of that we had to pay for. And
our total cost on that only came to $120.
Which really for 2 months was so affordable. We found the things to do in Romania, the excursions we went on, actually to be incredibly affordable. So that was really nice because we were spending more money on food out and everything. Now, some of the things we didn't do, which honestly might have been easier, if we would have had the extra funds, we would have done it. You can do an excursion where you're going to pay to maybe go have a private tour where they take you to Braun Castle, Pelish Castle, and sometimes that includes another destination as well. There was the brown bear watching, which is very popular. One of the ones we would highly suggest is to go on the private tour where it gets you to the salt mines. If you do not have a car, that was a challenging one for us, and it really shouldn't have been. But anyways, those are things, we'll put the costs and some of those links in the description if you want to be able to look into those, because they were actually quite affordable. We just couldn't add them on top of our already higher budget than we already had. Our next category is transportation costs, and actually considering how much we used transportation, we were very surprised at how much it cost us. It ended up being $185 total for 2 months, and that included trains and buses, Ubers.
Trains, planes, and automobiles.
No planes. But.
No planes. Now, one thing I would suggest doing is affordable as it was, renting a car might be the way to go. And it is somewhat affordable. In the summertime, you're going to pay about $25 a day. In the off season, you can go as low as $6 a day. Yeah. Now, there is fuel, and fuel is going to cost you about $6 a gallon.
Right. We paid, and we paid $45 to put gas in the car that we were loaned. And so, and that lasted us a couple days. There was some gas left over, and we did quite a bit of driving. But that really can add up as well.
That can add up, yeah.
But it definitely is going to be something that we do next time that we visit, because we felt like those couple days that we did have access to a car, you got to see the countryside, and that's part of the real beauty of Romania.
You just got a lot more done. Okay, next on our list is miscellaneous costs. Now, we don't have very many miscellaneous costs because we don't buy souvenirs. We don't buy those extras because we really don't have anywhere to put it, first of all. So I did get 2 haircuts in 2 months while I was in Romania, for a grand total of $22.
Pretty good price.
Yeah.
Now we have our monthly recurring costs. In this category, we have our health insurance, which currently we were paying $135 a month. So $540 for the 2 months that we were there.
Yeah, and then we also got a self-service plan this time.
Yeah.
And these plans are so affordable that we don't do it all the time just because of the inconvenience of going through the process to get a plan. But we figured for 2 months, the amount of time we were moving around, we decided to go ahead and get a cell phone plan, and that cost us $24 for 2 months.
$6 each a month. Next, we have Netflix and our VPN, and we use Surfshark, and for that, it was $39 for the 2 months. We also have an additional cost we use Canva for part of our videos, and we use Epidemic Sound. We don't include those costs into our monthly expenses just because it's not something you were spending money on. So for 2 months, in 8 different locations, we spent $4,957. So definitely exceeding what our normal budget is, which we try and stay around $1,000 each a month. And instead this time we had a average of $1,239 each per
Yeah,
month.
and I would say it was worth it.
Yeah.
Honestly, we
Definitely
had a
was.
great time
Yeah.
in Romania, and we would highly suggest traveling to Romania if you get the opportunity.
And if you have not watched any of the videos of some of the locations that we mentioned here today, you can check those ones out now. Cheers.
Cheers. Okay,
Yeah.
12, 24, I got it.
Let me put that in there.